Okay, this is for you, Augusto, or both of you, really. Is there any way PIX or UP could help to improve interoperability with your payment business models?
I think PIX is a universal system. What the central bank wants to achieve is one system that it can be enabled by any device, any scheme, and any network. So the answer is yes. Everybody that has a wallet will need to speak through that standard, which is the PIX standard, which is a predefined QR code methodology. So we think that that's good for the country. And if at the end of the day it increases demand for electronic means of payment, if it increases productivity, and if it brings convenience to both merchants and consumers, that's positive for our business.
Okay. All the solutions and options mentioned that have had any deployment that targets cryptocurrencies that are being slowly but surely adopted in Latam? That's a good question. We didn't talk about crypto. It's Mahaveer.
Well, cryptocurrency adoption is already coming up in Latin America, but as of now, there are OTC counters where the cryptos are being bought or probably bought online or traded online. But we do see that a unified POS would be coming up, especially with Android, where crypto applications on the trading desk, especially for buying and selling, would be possible using the bank card payments or the QR payments on a single device. So yes, and in fact, we are already doing some POCs in Europe with the crypto vendors or the service providers to provide one particular agent solution where a customer can actually buy cryptocurrencies of their choice using the bank cards and the QR on the POS.
Okay, if I may add to that, we see the crypto evolving, but we're focused on meeting merchants' need, and we haven't seen the increase of usage of crypto as a means of payment at stores and for shopping purposes. So we're waiting a little bit for demand to pick up and for us to deliver solutions.
Okay. Can you talk about the maturity of the retailers as they adopt new technologies? Is this a sector that demands from clients, and do they require an evolutionary jump? I'm sorry that the translation is a little weird, but basically, I guess it's like how mature are the retailers to new technologies, basically?
I'll take a crack at that one. What we're seeing is there's been, for some time already, at conferences, fairs, and webinars, there's a lot of been talking about omni-channel. And what we're seeing now, and particularly after the pandemic, several retailers ranging from small to medium, they have been investing a lot in because they had their stores closed down with the lockdowns. So the maturity has evolved significantly over the past 12 months. And I think that's one way without return. So I think that regardless of the maturity, everybody's going to go that way. And with the consumers demanding the service, that's the only way that merchants have to follow.
What are the main market challenges that you have faced in such big markets as India or Brazil? Are you partnering with other non-bank players to serve your target markets?
Yeah, one other thing, especially Feitian is focusing now with this COVID situation is, made in their own country. So we've been doing a lot of partnering with, SKD and CKD model partnerships with the local, manufacturers, where they locally assemble the products in order to bring down the cost, as well as locally produced some of the accessories of the product. And this kind of partners are also very well connected to the acquirers. So in India also there are multiple acquirers, there are multiple banks. So the idea is that when we are trying to focus, we are always trying to focus on some of the partners which can engage into a bigger market segment, which is not only related to payments, but it can also focus on the non-payment industry, at the same time giving the facility of local production. So that is where our focus has been.
Yeah, good. I'd like to make two comments. The first one has to do with what is the main challenge. And in most of the countries, the big challenge is the regulatory scenario, the regulatory evolution. In Latin America, and as has been in Brazil, and I think Brazil is slightly ahead on that path, regulation of the payments industry and changes in the financial markets are set by the regulators. And it's happening in several countries. Countries are adopting sandboxes. Some countries are changing regulation to accommodate new fintechs. So the big challenge is to make sure that all these regulations are moving in the right direction with good speed. And as to partnering in several markets, it's important to partner, because as the technology evolves, as the market moves, one will not be able to develop all the capabilities and all the functionality that needs to be addressed to address merchant needs. And therefore, partnering is the best way to accelerate growth.
Thanks. I think that answers partially the next question from one of our attendees about the regulation. They were asking, how does it impact your businesses? But I think you just answered that. There's one for a follow-up. What about interoperability with UP in India for Feitian and other no-bank PSPs? Does that make sense?
I didn't get you. Interoperability for?
With UPI?
Okay. Okay. So see, there are two parts. One is the hardware manufacturing, and then the second part is the application on top of the manufacturing integrated to the acquiring. So of course, in India, you already have the acquirers, which are already connected to, IMPS as well as UPIs. They are already connected to them. So because there is already an inter-settlement and interoperability even between the closed loop wallets. So yeah, that's why you see Google Pay coming up, WhatsApp Pay coming up in India, and then you can use any channels, whether it's a bank account transfer or whether it's a card transfer or whether it's a closed loop wallet transfer. All the mechanisms of payments are already possible in India because of the infrastructure in the government. So when it comes to Feitian, our strategy is very simple, that the partners we are partnering with, they are already connected to the top acquirers in the country, and they already have the access to UPI or Bharat Pay or the QR, as well as Paytm or all the other closed loop wallets, where the interoperability or settlements between different service providers is easily possible on a single application or a single Android POS terminal. Yes.
I guess that also there's a question, same equivalent for you again, although you mentioned PIX again, but what is the impact of interoperability with the PIX system, and what does the future hold?
Well, I think overall, if you look at the future, electronic means of payment is going to continue to grow. The Association of Cards here in Brazil estimate that this year the industry will grow between 15 to 18%. So this means that more people are using electronic means of payment, less cash. This increases productivity. This increases efficiency of companies. So it's a growth industry, and it's likely to continue to grow for several years. So I would say it's a good industry to be in.
Okay. What is would you say, in your opinion, is the most likely that, I'm sorry again for my quick translation, I guess a payment method of preference for the unbanked?
The unbanked market? Oh,
Unbanked.
The unbanked market has always been, the cash, or probably with the COVID situation now coming up. Yeah. So with the COVID situation now coming up, it's more on the closed loop payments. So the closed loop payments can be tap and pay, or it can be QR or any other payments where the card involvements or the plastic cards are not involved.
Yeah, you agree, I guess, Augusto.
And I agree. But what we're seeing in Latin America, and particularly in Brazil, is that the the closed loop schemes does not address the problem of you having one big player and the winner takes it all, as well as it adds complexity to the merchants. In the past, what we had in Brazil is several schemes with their own network, i.e. their own point of sale device. So at the counter of the merchant, you would have, the point of sale device for scheme A and then B and C and D. And if that happens, if you change that to QR code, every merchant would have to have the QR code of closed loop A, B, C, and D, and I don't think it addresses the complexity for the issuer, for the merchants. So what I see is, interoperability is key. Yes, QR code is a good thing, but we need to guarantee that interoperability exists between them.
Okay, but it was very, very good. I enjoyed it so much. I hope you did too. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.